A single lawn tip, banned from mainstream advice in 1950, can save the average homeowner around $200 a year in fertilizer and weed control. I found it buried in old United States Department of Agriculture seed mix records, right alongside 9 other techniques that the lawn chemical industry quietly erased once they had something to sell you instead. I'm going to walk you through 10 of them today. Every single one is a beginner-friendly method that used to be standard advice before the post-war chemical boom rewrote what a perfect lawn was supposed to look like. And the last one on this list, the 10th one, is the one that genuinely changed how I think about lawn care. It was actually printed in lawn seed bags until the late 1940s, then deliberately removed when a brand new herbicide hit the market. I'll tell you exactly which one and why. I've also got a bonus tip at the end, something I uncovered in an old extension service bulletin from 1952 that costs less than $1 to apply and does the work of a $50 product. Stick with me. Let's walk through it together. Here's the thing. After World War II, the same factories that made nitrogen for explosives needed a new customer. The lawn became that customer. Chemical companies, mower manufacturers, and bagging product makers spent decades retraining homeowners to fight nature instead of working with it. The methods I'm sharing today aren't new. They're just older than the industry that replaced them. So here's what I uncovered, starting with something the mower industry would rather you forget. The first one surprised me when I dug into a Penn State turf research bulletin from 1958. Mow tall. I mean 3.5 to 4 inches tall on cool season grasses, and around 2.5 to 3 inches on warm season types like Bermuda. Most homeowners scalp their lawns down to 1.5 inches, because that's what their grandfather did with his real mower. But the research is overwhelming. Taller grass shades the soil, blocks crabgrass germination, and develops roots up to twice as deep as short grass. A 1993 University of Maryland study found that lawns mowed at 3 inches had 70% fewer weeds than lawns mowed at 2 inches. Same fertilizer, same water, same seed. The only variable was blade height. Trust me on this one. Raise your mower deck 1 full setting today, and you'll see a different lawn in 3 weeks. That pairs perfectly with the next one, a method that fertilizer companies actively discouraged through their advertising for 40 straight years. Leave the clippings. Don't bag them. The practice is called grass cycling, and it was standard before disposable lawn bags became a billion-dollar product line. Grass clippings are roughly 4% nitrogen, 2% potassium, and 1% phosphorus by dry weight. A University of Connecticut study showed that grass cycling alone provides about 25% of your lawn's annual nitrogen needs. That's free fertilizer you're hauling to the curb. Clippings break down within 2 to 3 weeks. And no, they do not cause thatch. That myth was popularized in 1969 in a magazine ad for a bagging attachment. It's simpler than you think. Just cut and walk away. Here's one that seems almost too simple to work, and it's the reason most beginners overwater. Water deep, water rarely. The old extension service rule was 1 inch of water once a week, applied in a single long session. Today's irrigation timers are programmed to run 15 minutes every other day, because shallow, frequent watering keeps your grass dependent on the system. A Texas A&M study found that lawns watered deeply once a week developed roots 6 inches deep, while lawns watered daily developed roots only 1.5 inches deep. Shallow roots mean your lawn dies the first time you skip a watering. Place a tuna can on your lawn. Run your sprinkler until the can holds 1 inch of water, and time it. Whatever that number is, that's your weekly watering session. 1 time, not 5. Before I get to the next one, I want to take a quick moment. If you've ever battled clover, crabgrass, or stubborn dandelions every single year and felt like you're losing the fight, I put together a guide called Larry's 30-Day Weed Kill Protocol. It's the exact day-by-day system I use myself, including pre-emergent timing windows most homeowners miss by 2 weeks. the post-emergent application technique that doubles product effectiveness, and a full identification chart for the 7 worst lawn weeds. It's $17 right now, marked down from $47, over at lawncarelarrybooks.com. Scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description. All right, let's keep going. There's more to uncover. Now, this next one was standard advice in every 1940s homeowner manual and got buried the moment bagged synthetic fertilizer became a retail category. Top dress with compost. A 1/4 inch of screened compost spread across your lawn, once in fall and once in spring, builds the soil biology that synthetic fertilizers actively suppress. A Cornell University trial found that lawns top dressed with compost twice a year showed a 43% reduction in disease pressure within 2 seasons. The microbes do work that no bag of 2010 can replicate. Use a leaf rake to work it into the canopy. That's it. Here's where it gets interesting. Aeration was originally done with a garden fork. No machinery, no rental, no contractor. The lawn industry rebranded a free Saturday afternoon into a $120 service. For lawns under 2,000 square feet, you can plug aerate manually with a hand-core aerator in about an hour. Pull plugs every 6 inches across compacted areas. Leave the cores on the surface to break down and water deeply afterward. Compaction is the silent killer of beginner lawns. Roots can't push through soil with bulk density above 1.6 grams per cubic centimeter, and most suburban lawns hit that number by year 3. Let that sink in. Now here's a timing detail that the spring fertilizer push has totally erased from public conversation. Overseed in fall, not spring. Specifically, the window from late August through mid-October for cool season grasses, depending on your zone. Soil temperatures between 50 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit are ideal for germination, and weed pressure is dramatically lower than in spring. A University of Nebraska study tracked establishment rates and found fall overseeded plots had 92% successful germination, compared to 58% for spring. But every retail store puts their seed displays out in March, because that's when emotional buying happens. The grass doesn't care about your shopping habits. It cares about soil temperature. This one is genuinely controversial, and I'll be honest with you about that. Corn gluten meal as a natural pre-emergent. Iowa State University's Dr. Nick Christians patented its use in 1991 after discovering it suppresses root development in germinating weed seeds. Apply it at 20 pounds per 1,000 square feet about 2 weeks before crabgrass typically germinates in your area. Here's the honest part. It works at roughly 60% the effectiveness of synthetic pre-emergence in the first year, and improves to near parity by year 3 with consistent use. The chemical industry doesn't promote it because it's a feed byproduct that anyone can sell. Cheap, decentralized, unpatentable beyond the original use claim. That's exactly why it was sidelined. Pattern interrupt. Stop fertilizing on a calendar. Start fertilizing based on a soil test. The lawn chemical industry built its entire retail strategy around 4-step seasonal programs that assume every lawn in America has identical soil. They don't. A basic soil test from your county extension office costs around $15 to $20 and tells you exactly what your lawn needs and, more importantly, what it doesn't. I've seen homeowners apply phosphorus to soils already loaded with it for 10 years straight, simply because the bag told them to. That phosphorus runs off into watersheds and contributes to algae blooms. Test first, then feed. It's that simple. Sharpen your mower blade every 8 to 10 hours of use. This one isn't suppressed exactly, but it's been quietly omitted from beginner advice because dull blades create the kind of stressed lawn that needs more product to recover. A dull blade tears grass instead of cutting it, leaving a frayed white tip that turns brown within a day and becomes an entry point for fungal disease. Michigan State turf trials documented a 30% increase in disease incidence on lawns mowed with dull blades. A $10 file or a $25 blade balancer pays for itself the first season. Most homeowners sharpen their blade once a decade. That is not enough. And now we're at the one I told you about at the start. The one that was printed right on the label of every premium lawn seed mix until 1950. White clover. Specifically, Dutch white clover, sown at about 2 ounces per 1,000 square feet, mixed in with your turf grass. Here's the history nobody talks about. Before 1950, white clover was considered an essential lawn species. It fixed atmospheric nitrogen, providing free fertilizer to the surrounding grass. It stayed green during drought when fescues went dormant. It was beautiful, durable, and self-sustaining. Then, in 1945, a herbicide called 2,4-D was released to the public after wartime development. It killed broadleaf plants, including clover, while leaving grasses standing. The chemical companies had a problem. Their flagship product killed the most beneficial plant in the lawn. So they ran a 15-year marketing campaign, rebranding clover as a weed. Seed companies removed it from their mixes. Extension services updated their bulletins. By 1960, an entire generation of homeowners had been taught that the plant their grandparents intentionally seeded was now an invader. Here's what the research shows. Clover fixes between 100 and 150 pounds of nitrogen per acre per year. It tolerates dog urine. It feeds pollinators. It outcompetes most broadleaf weeds. And homeowners who reintroduce it report cutting their fertilizer use roughly in half within 2 seasons. This was deliberate. The knowledge wasn't lost. It was buried because nobody could profit from a lawn that fed itself. Let me walk through a few mistakes I see beginners making, almost all of them rooted in the post-war retraining I just described. The first is fertilizing too early in spring. The bag tells you to apply in March, but root systems aren't ready to absorb it yet, so most of it leaches away. Wait until your lawn has been actively growing for 2 to 3 weeks. The second is bagging in fall. Shredded fall leaves are one of the best soil amendments you can give a lawn for free. Mow them into the canopy at a high blade height and let them break down over winter. The third is watering at night. It feels efficient because there's less evaporation, but wet blades after sunset are an open invitation to fungal disease. Water between 4 and 10 in the morning. That single change can prevent most lawn diseases entirely. And the fourth is treating every brown patch as a chemical problem. Most brown patches are compaction, drought stress, or dull blade damage. Diagnose before you spray. Now, the bonus I promised you. I found this in a Rutgers Extension bulletin from 1952, and it costs almost nothing. Apply blackstrap molasses, 3 tablespoons mixed in 1 gallon of water, sprayed across 1,000 square feet. Once a month during the growing season. The simple sugars feed your soil microbes, which accelerates thatch breakdown and improves nutrient cycling. It's genuinely one of the cheapest soil amendments in existence, and it was standard advice before the soil microbe story got replaced by the synthetic fertilizer story. Trust me on this one. Try it for 1 full season and watch your soil change. Here's the thing. The 10 methods I just walked you through are pieces of a larger system, and if you're tired of fighting clover, crabgrass, and dandelions every single spring, I want to point you toward Larry's 30-day weed kill protocol one more time. It lays out the exact pre-emergent timing for your zone, the post-emergent technique that catches the weeds the first application misses, the 7 weeds you absolutely must learn to identify, and the full seasonal calendar I follow on my own lawn. No fluff. Just the plan, written the same way I talk in these videos. $17 instead of $47. Scan the QR code on your screen or click the link in the description over at lawncarelarrybooks.com. It's the most complete beginner system I've ever put together. That single band tip I mentioned at the start, the white clover one, can genuinely cut your lawn budget in half over 2 seasons. Drop a comment and let me know which of these 10 you're trying first. I read them all. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.